Hi, this is Mark Birch, and here I'm going to be offering analysis and revision of Carol Ann Duffy's The Darling Letters. Darling letters refer to love letters, written in the past and stored away. The use of italics in the title and throughout the poem represents language taken from the letters themselves. The reader hears the voice of the young lover intruding on the poem. An elegaic form is employed through the semantic field of death, absence, loss, coffins, die, buried bones. The death here may be one of a relationship or the youth that fosters such strong emotions. Written in three sestets, the regularity may convey the sense of the universal. The pattern of stanzas could suggest that this experience of intense love in youth is one shared by all. And this concept is complemented by the use of the pronouns some and them, which, being unspecific, serve to universalise. In contrast, Duffy's use of free verse and the lack of a regular rhythm could represent the transitory nature of love. Strong feelings change, just as the lack of regularity of rhyme and rhythm structurally embody change. The idea of the letters being stored away from the light may literally represent the value of the letters. They're stored in a way that avoids them suffering damage as a result of exposure to the light. Metaphorically, the light could represent visibility. They're stored so that they don't see the light of day, avoiding the embarrassment associated with expressions of powerful, immature emotions. The personification of the letters through saw, recklessness and blinking conveys pain, blending the pain of exposure to light after a long period in darkness and the pain of lost love. The homographic pun, written all over them, introduces the theme of jokes that dominates the conclusion of the first stanza. The letters literally have reckless words of a lover written all over them, but the phrase also functions as an idiom to mean something obvious. The unrestrained outpouring of emotion is obvious in the words of the letters. Private jokes indicates intimacy, but these are no longer comprehended because of the passage of time. The words in the letters have become a confusing mystery, even to their author. Duffy may help to convey the confusing nature of such jokes by placing puns before and after this phrase. To pull a punch is to metaphorically weaken the effect of something. Combining this idiomatic language with the word punchlines draws attention to the pun and suggests that the private jokes are weakened by time and ineffectual. It's ironic that such strong emotion is now so weak and embarrassing. Duffy conveys the original strength of the words through the powerful alliteration of plosives that dominate the line: private, pull, punchline. This idea is reinforced by the phrase fall flat, as the alliteration of the weak fricatives literally fall onto the next line. There's a sense of the words being trite and pathetic, existing in the sad gaps between endearments. When the lover has expressed their strong emotions or endearments, they have little of interest to say. My own, in the third line, parallels their own at the beginning of the line, perhaps suggesting the distance between the words of the poetic voice as a young lover and the words as they now appear to the poetic voice, alien and embarrassing. What are you wearing, functioning as a quotation from the letters, alludes to the sexual nature of the content, but given that it's juxtaposed to the sad gaps, the reader may recognise the way that these letters are driven by lust rather than genuine love. The trite comments of lovers are evident in the lifting from the letters found in the first line of the second stanza. Don't ever change is followed by a description of the change in the relationship. They start with darling, end in recriminations. The letters chart the beginning and end of a relationship. The enjambment between line 2 and 3 could create an absence that structurally captures the absence, sense of loss that are described on the third line. The reference to the fist connotes violence, perhaps representing the anger of the poetic voice at the way the relationship ended. This feeling is short-lived, however, with the fist metaphorically described as a flowering bud. The image of a bud conveys the bunched-up intensity of a fist, but for it to flower suggests an opening up or release as the emotion changes. There's a sense that something beautiful is born out of these experiences, even if they're initially painful. This may be one of the reasons why the letters are retained. The powerful emotions elicited are evident in the verb trembling, and a reverence for the letters is presented through the verb traced. There's a care for the examination of the letters, with hindsight giving the letters more significance, as their content can be judged in the light of this. Always, once again, seems ironic given the nature of the change referred to in the stanza. The shoeboxes are metaphorically referred to as coffins. The letters themselves are figuratively dead in the sense of being relics of a dead love, and this death is reinforced through the adjective stiff, as if with rigor mortis. The letters are preserved because they act as symbols of the past. Nobody burns them, because they have the power to transport their readers to the emotional landscape of their youth. Despite this, the final stanza explores the embarrassment of witnessing the kind of emotional outpouring of youth. The opening term of endearment, babykins, is an odd pet name, and the infantilizing nature of it make us blush. The simile of as though we'd murdered someone under an alias conveys the depth of the guilt felt at the use of this word. The secretive aspect of such a term of endearment is reinforced by the connotations of alias as a false name, often used for illicit purposes. The motif of death links back to the idea of murder. Again, Duffy mocks the intensity of the emotions of the past, whilst also implying, given the context, that the only death is that of the feeling itself. The powerful onomatopoeia of fudding may convey a strong emotional response to seeing the letters again. It's a sound associated with weight. When conveying the sound of the heart, it could allude to the idiom heavy heart, representing sadness. The final simile reinforces the negativity of fudding through its reference to a spade on buried bones. The plosives complement the powerful sound of fudding and the beat of a heavy heart. The simile conveys the idea of revealing something from the past, but it's a revelation of something best left in the past, something that seems irreverent to disturb, as the mocking tone and embarrassment of the poetic voice seems to confirm. Okay, ta.